Oh, what day is it? Hi everybody. It's day 24 of social distancing. Um, Wednesday, April 8th, 2020. It's really, really late. Probably my latest entry, but we'll get started right now. Today was a very crazy day at work. Just a lot of, oops, my bad. Just a lot of like things going on work wise, but nothing too crazy. Just like oof, and then I was slowly like feeling really weird this afternoon, and telltale signs show that I was like really dehydrated. So I think that just added on to like not thinking clearly. I just feel like when you're dehydrated, just like something's just weird. So I just started drinking a lot of water, and I had a really bad headache. So, but it's gone now, thankfully. I just gotta remember to drink water. This is just a friendly reminder. If you're also during the quarantine and you're like me working from your desk, make sure you drink water. And I did have like a note here to share statistics of where we're at in terms of like number of cases, number of deaths, even number of recoveries so far for COVID-19. I didn't have time to look that up for this video, but I'll be sure to make a note to look it up for tomorrow. Let's see. One thing I did want to talk about was my dad mentioned to my mom that he wanted to come, if he should come pick us up, so that we can all be together during quarantine time. And I just like share with my mom, like, I think we'll be okay. Like, I don't feel like I'm in danger. We're pretty much, everything's here. So we're okay, but I know there's like that mood of like wanting everyone to be together. I know some friends that have like left to be with their like immediate family, like if they're not married or anything, or if they're students, even like that too. But I'm pretty okay with like with what I have and where I am right now, thankfully. So we're good. Me and Kiki are good. And did want to touch on today, excuse me, on what I was reading in my Bible this week. Again, going through Holy Week this week, and I was in Luke 21, and it was a little bit about, part of it was about the times, like Jesus describing the end times and the days that lead up to when he comes back. If you're a believer, then you would consider that as a rapture. And I know a lot of people are saying like, oh, these are, signs of the end times. But I feel like we've been saying that for the past 2 decades. And I'm sure people in the 1800s have been saying that. So I guess trying to think of a diplomatic way of saying, don't let that like it shouldn't change the way you live your everyday. Like, it shouldn't make you worry anymore. It shouldn't make you less of a Christian in terms of the fruits of the Spirit, in terms of loving your community and doing what you can to help your neighbors, and also growing in your faith. But it should also just burden your heart a little bit for just sharing the gospel with those that don't know it or wouldn't know it. That's important too. And I know there's just a lot of like crazy things going on, and just a Christian evangelical circle of like people just still having church services, especially ones for Easter, and like certain pastors calling their congregation just people to come worship. And my personal view on it, like just me, is just like I don't think that is the right thing to do, because it's not like we're being persecuted for our faith. It's because it's a safety issue and it's a life or death issue for some people. And I think for us being good stewards and good neighbors to people around us is to make sure that they're safe. Like they're in Isaiah or Jeremiah actually, where where God, what's the word? Where he doesn't send, he exiles the Israelites out to the other countries around them, but God commands them to be still good neighbors to those around them, and to be, multiply and be fruitful in the midst of being around their enemies. And I think we should have a heart of that too, of like, if I go somewhere and I bring it back to my coworkers or whatever, that's not really smart. And I think I mentioned this before, but church isn't a building. Like, church is a community of people that love on their immediate community or even extended community. Like, if it's donating monies to an organization that do research that is really good, or just donating your time, like me donating my time to help my coworker pack up the apartment by herself. So they're just really mindful of that. I know, like, later in the future there's going to be talks about it, like whether that was the right thing or the wrong thing, and I don't think that's a smart thing. I don't think there's a point to be made to do that. And we're going to be celebrating it online with Good Friday and Easter Sunday, like I mentioned it before. So those are just my thoughts on it as I read through those verses. I'm going to read them again before I go to sleep. But that's kind of like the mood that's going on too, that I've heard. And let's see. And today we actually had our youth group, and the message that was given by one of our leaders was, are we living our lives as if God is number one? And that made me really reflective of kind of what I was touching on earlier this week of, am I behaving in a way through my actions that are revealing that God is number one in my life, that I trust him, that he's taught me to love people, to extend grace to others, and to be righteous. Am I doing that in my actions? Am I doing that with my thoughts? Especially, am I doing it with my words and things that I say? Am I giving off a negative attitude or being really pessimistic or doubtful? And especially with my heart, like, am I allowing bitterness to set in? Am I allowing worry to set in? So I think that's just really reflective for me to think about. And if you're also a believer as well, that's also something to hopefully convict you, because it definitely convicted me, and it's just a message for high schoolers. So that was really good. And also that too, which was also a really good point that the leader made in our group, was that it's never too late to just, if you find yourself, you're like, I've definitely not been putting God number one in these areas of my life. It's never too late to do that. Like, if you're alive and you have a beating pulse, sorry, it's like really late. You can change, you can come back. And just remember the story of the prodigal son, who literally ended up eating the food of the pigs, at the end of the day, and then realized he had to come back to his dad. You are never too far from turning back and going back to God. That's just really good encouragement for not only the youth to hear, but also just for us in general. Like, if it's, 2 days or 3 days or years, God's never, ever gonna be far from you. And then today I had my after party Zoom with my girls, and we did a virtual Quince for one of our girls, because one of them just is turning 15. Well, she just turned 15, like right now at midnight. So she put on her dress, like her band dress, which is like the really long black ones, and I played Tiempo de Vals by Cheyenne. If you're Hispanic, you know that song, especially like old school quinceañeras. And she was just dancing in her room, and we were all with our phones, like taking pictures of her. And I was like, putting the music on in the speaker, and then she just danced with her bear too, like, your first dance and all that. And we sang her happy birthday. So it was really nice just to have like that time with all of us together and just catching up and being goofy and just talking to each other. So, and then I came up with this idea that I saw on other people that are having Zoom parties. They have like a themed Zoom, and we're actually just going to dress up for a Zoom. So next week we're going to have Lion King, dress up as Lion King characters. So that'll be interesting. Then the week after we're going to do Office characters, even more fun. And then at some point we'll do celebrity people. So it'll be just something fun to do, to look forward to. So that'll be really cool. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I remember talking in my last week of like, how am I going to get through the week without these Zooms? How did I get through the first 2 weeks without these social Zooms? So I'm kind of getting the groove of it. It might be a rough day tomorrow because it's a little bit late tonight, but to me, it's like totally worth it to do it for my girls. Like, I'm just that kind of person. And tomorrow, don't know what's going to be in store for me work-wise. I'm trying to like get ahead and get ahead as much as I can and make sure I'm getting the things that I need to get done. And then I have a call with another one of my best friends tomorrow to catch up. So I'm really excited for that. And then it's going to be Good Friday. And yeah, tomorrow's the last day of my whole 30. Then I get to weigh myself on Friday and see how much this diet has impacted me weight-wise. But for sure it's been helping me just be more focused and energized. Even though like these last few days have been kind of weird. So yeah, today is day 24 of social distancing. Wednesday, April 8th. Right now it's Thursday, but it's not really. So yeah, I'll see you guys later.